Hello, everybody, and welcome to Mirror List Monday, right here on the Eat Sleep List YouTube channel. My name is Matt Johnson, your host, and today I want to talk about fear, admitting our fears, and hopefully someday conquering them. Let's make a list. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate, and hate leads to suffering. Wise words from Master Yoda in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and they are perfectly applicable to today's video. I want to talk about fear for a couple of reasons today. Firstly, we are in the month of October. We're on the home stretch, the final couple weeks, I think, at least less than 2 weeks away. It is next Friday at time of posting, and I've tried to maintain the spooky season themes for this month. I think everything outside of the positive affirmation list has been gimmicked and tailored to the spirit of Halloween. And secondly, fear is a perfect thing to reflect upon. We all have fear. We all are afraid of something, or some things, or someone, or whatever. Most people have no problem admitting it. There are quite a few who are way too prideful, and they have this "I'm not afraid of anything" mentality, and I think that's incredibly arrogant, because we are all scared of something. All right, all scared of something. We acquire fear through a variety of different means. There's really two easy ways. There might be some other methods, but the way that I look at it, you either have fear of the unknown, all right, fear of people, things, ideas that you don't quite understand. You hear things about them. They may not be true. You may not have experienced them. All right, a lot of things that people are afraid of are things that they have never experienced or been around before. And that leads to just a general sense of dread and anxiety, fear, to be around it or to even hear about it or speak about it. And it can be quite stressful. All right, a lot of people are afraid of the future. They fear the future. You know, we live in a time where a lot of things are fear-mongering is the way to go, the way to broadcast news and so much stuff. So every day people are waking up, have no idea what the future holds. All right, and it's not just the media. It's a lot of different people, organizations, other things. They use fear to kind of manipulate people and make them make emotional decisions to these cults, groups' best interest. So you acquire it that way. You acquire it through the unknown. And then there's also fear of, from personal experience, past traumas, things that have happened to you repeatedly, or something that was so big and life-changing that you cannot forget it. You cannot get it out of your head, and it's something that you want to avoid at every chance you can possibly get. And that's another avenue. I think we've all experienced something that bothers us, that we hate, that we never want to go through again, and it tends to lead us to stay away, to avoid that feeling of fearing it again. Today I want to talk a little bit about this stuff because I want to discuss overcoming our fears at some point. I'll delve further into it with the lessons from the list area, but yeah, fear is such a unique feeling, though. It is. I like the feeling of being afraid, of being scared. And when I'm in control, it gets weird, like watching movies or playing video games or sometimes listening to music or just being out in certain environments. And like fear is the feeling you get. There's it's a little stressful, but there's a interesting heightened awareness, right? You become very aware of your surroundings, which is actually kind of cool when you put yourself in that. You are hyper aware because you're being careful. All right. Me and my friends, for example, used to walk around the old Love Canal area here in Niagara Falls late at night, and there was all sorts of scary stories about an alleged witch around that area. And walking through there, it scared the crap out of you. All right, and because you never knew, there was lots of legitimate stories, and I knew people who spoke of this so-called Love Canal witch, and we did it just because it was a kind of a control. We were in a group, we were together, and we were aware that this was happening. It was kind of dumb. It's like how a lot of characters act in scary movies, but you're putting yourself in that situation to kind of have like that little bit of dread and fear, but you're together, so it's like okay. You're hyper aware. It's really, you're more aware than basically any other situation. And on top of that, like alertness, that awareness, your heightened awareness that it comes with, it's that fight or flight mentality. Like it comes from a fearful, stressful situation. And how we choose to operate, whether we choose to fight or flight, it's very telling about who we are as people. All right? There is no shame in taking the flight route, in running away from a scary situation. It's sometimes it's better to run than stay in something bad. There's nothing wrong with that. I think actually in some cases that takes a little bit of courage too. But that fight feeling, when you are in the face, when danger is staring you in the face of a situation, something that is maybe not even just danger, but just something in your mind that you are fearful of, when you are looking at it in the face and you won't back down, I think that is incredibly admirable and courageous in it. And you can tell a lot about people from the way that they deal with their fear. Many years ago, I used to watch this YouTube channel. I believe the gentleman's name was Sadhguru. He was a Indian gentleman, if I'm not mistaken, but he was quite wise. He talked a lot about mental health, and he was just so intelligent, and the way he talked to people, the way he understood the human body, emotions, all that stuff. Maybe you heard of him. Maybe you haven't. You may have seen a short or a TikTok or a reel come across your phone or computer screen of him at some point in time. But there was one question that somebody brought up to him about stress, about dealing with stress and how stressed out they were. And this individual thought it was just like this weirdly unique problem to them. Not specifically, but acted like not everybody in the world isn't stressed about something. And Sadhguru's response was basically that, yes, everybody's stressed, but everybody deals with it in different ways. All right? Some people deal with their stress a lot better than others. And they turn out, there's positive ways and there's negative ways to deal with stress. Fight or flight. You can avoid what stresses you out. All right? Run away from it, hide, pretend it's not there, it's never going to happen, and you hope it goes away. And usually it does not. But if you fight it, if you attack it, confront it head on, that stress will and should go away. And stress could be a lot of things. It could be a messy house. It could be a difficult conversation with somebody that you love and care about, or somebody that you hate. All right? But if you confront it, if you do it and deal with it, the relief, the stress dissipates. It disappears. And you can grow as a person from that. And I think fear is very much like stress. There is some correlation, no doubt about it. But they are two very different things. But you can do fight or flight when it comes to dealing with what you are afraid of. If you are scared of something or someone, confront them or confront the situation, and you will grow. You will overcome your fear. The more comfortable that you are around something that you fear, the more you will grow as a person, the better off you will be. All right, overcoming fear is such a great feeling. I've had some goofy fears in my day. Goofy fears. Afraid of the dark when I was a kid. I remember hanging out in my parents' basement all the time. And I would get really freaked out if the stairwell light was turned off. My dad or mom would turn off the stair light. So if I turned down the light from the area where I was playing in, it would be completely dark. And I would sprint up the stairs as fast as I could because the darkness was scary. All right. I thought monsters were real and all sorts of things. So I wanted to get out of the basement as quick as I could. I used to have a fear of drive-thrus. I hated, going through drive-thrus was a just ridiculous endeavor. I hated talking through these speakers because my order was getting messed up. A fast food order would be getting messed up, and so I would legitimately park the car and go inside and order food. It was irrational. Eventually, I had to overcome it, but I legitimately hated, because I had so many bad experiences ordering food through a drive-thru window that I just went inside. But eventually, I grew out of it. I don't really look like I miss or I'm afraid of a drive-thru speaker. Talking on the phone, stressful. It's something that I feared quite a bit, but something that I had to overcome. So how we deal with fear really, it does define us. And confronting your fear is probably the best way to go about it. All right. You will grow as a person. I think a lot of us, running away from fears every once in a while is okay. It's understandable. It's really not cowardly. For the most part, coward is kind of a harsh word for it, but running away from certain things that you are afraid of all the time is what it is. But you also will stay the same. But when you confront something that you are afraid of, when you just deal with it, when you go through it, you experience it, you understand it, you come out so much better on the other side. And growth is something that we preach about all the time on this channel. Growing as a human being, becoming a better version of ourselves, 1% better every single day. And fear is an excellent opportunity to level up. All right, everybody, it is time for my favorite part of every single video that we do. It is time to make the list. As I always encourage, please feel free to comment along, whether it's your favorite, your top 2, your top 5, whatever it may be. Feel free to comment along in the comments. If you don't feel comfortable commenting publicly, our email address is always open and available for a private conversation. eatsleeplistpod@gmail.com is in every single video description that we that is up. It is there and available, so don't hesitate. Would love to have a personal dialogue with some of you who are watching my videos. All right, but these are my top 10 fears. They're strictly for myself. It's me being open and honest about them. And there are some interesting ones. Maybe we match up on something. Maybe we don't. That's okay. But I'm excited to talk about these things that get my heart racing and get that fight or flight mode activated. Let's kick it off here with my number 10. I hate clowns. All right, hate is a strong word. I fear clowns. I do. I don't actually know where this originated from. I'm not a big face paint person. It bothers me. Face paint really bothers me. I don't know why. I don't know. I just hate having stuff on me. I just do. It could be from a variety of different means. It could be from, watching Batman as a kid and seeing some very terrifying Joker portrayals. It could be hearing about the John Wayne Gacy kind of thing. Like, I don't know. Like, this is probably the most ridiculous one on my top 10 list. But I think it's an understandable thing. I think a lot of people are afraid of clowns. I remember like 2015, 2016 when all those random like clown videos were popping up. I think it was like summer or like early fall. And there was all sorts of videos of creepy clowns like showing up in people's backyards, running out of cornfields, standing on corners, and in other places where they shouldn't have been. Crazy, creepy, wild stuff. Seems normal compared to a lot of other things that are going on in this wild and wacky world that we live in. But yeah, clowns I just don't jive with. And there are some great clown people out there. All right, people who are great at their craft. They're really good at making kids smile and laugh. But I don't jive with clowns. I don't. If you are a clown watching this, I apologize. And in no way is this this is not personal. It's just a generalization. Let's move on. My number 9. I think the one animal that I fear more than anything are snakes. I hate snakes. I don't truly understand snakes. And you know what? And this one I can trace back to. I haven't really been around too many pet snakes. Most of my interpretation of snakes and how scary they are to me comes from years of watching them on TV, in movies, in video games. Right? Just they're always portrayed as evil more often than not. This goes back for me, good Lord. Whenever I first watched that like 1970s Robin Hood cartoon from Disney, it portrayed as evil. Jungle Book portrayed as evil. And I can name, if I really want to take the time, I could go through a litany of entertainment properties where snakes are portrayed as villains. But I've also seen like other videos, like real life videos of snakes doing stuff. I mean, snakes being snakes. I'll never forget this one where a snake swallowed a puppy and it made the news. Like we were watching the news in the morning and a snake swallowed a puppy. They heard it barking inside of the snake. I go, oh, it makes me it made me upset because it's like it's a puppy. It's a dog, man's best friend. And a snake ate it whole. And I've seen other stuff where snakes are, they go after humans. They wrap them up. They constrict and so on and so forth. And yes, it's their survival, their means of survival, but too much. I've seen too much. Literally an anaconda, going after deer and just humans. And it's just, it's so uncomfortable. And obviously there's plenty of other creatures out there to be afraid of, but snakes do not sit well with me. So that's my number 9. Number 8. This one's probably more so a lack of the fear of a lack of control. But I've been driving for so long. Like my last 2 relationships that I've been in over the last, 3 relationships I've been in since 2010. I have been the sole driver. All right? Sole driver. So I'm so comfortable. I hate driving. I do hate driving too, but I hate being needed to drive to places where I don't want to go, basically. But what I'm getting at is that I hate being like in like a passenger in other people's cars. I hate when I'm going somewhere and I'm not the one driving. Like if I'm going to be in a car, I want to drive. There's just so much uncertainty, I guess. And there's been a lot of times where I'm riding with somebody and I go on like a bunch of different side quests and I cannot stand that. Like if I got to be home at a certain time and I literally just can't. I'm trapped wherever I'm at because the person I'm with wants to do this, wants to do that. I can't deal with it. It's very, very frustrating. I remember there's been a few times where I was a passenger in somebody's vehicle and we went to this one thing and then they were trying to be with their significant other. And this night was dragging out, and I had so much to do. And I didn't get home till super late. And I think it was the last time I ever sat in this individual's car, if I'm not mistaken, because I had stuff I wanted to do. I wanted to go home and go to bed. I had an early morning, and I can't do it. Can't deal with it. It's like a feeling of entrapment. So, lack of control, but driving in a car trip, driving somewhere, but not being the actual driver, sitting in the passenger seat. Do not like it. That's my number 8. Number 7, rapid change. I like change. Change is good. Incremental change is really, really good. I think it's the best way to go about change, but a drastic change like that can be quite scary and overwhelming. Switching jobs or, a fallout with a friend or family member. I've dealt with this kind of stuff a lot of times. It's like gradually growing apart. Let's go with the friend avenue. Gradually growing apart from someone, it feels natural. It is what it is. But man, if there's something big that happens, like a big fight, a big moment that separates you from somebody, it stinks. It stinks. And it's scary and overwhelming. And sometimes your first reaction is to try and cave, some people's, to cave and make it work somehow. Figure it out. Breakups. There's a good one. Breakups. Tough, especially when you really love and care about somebody. And it just happens. Spur of the moment. You don't see it coming. You get blindsided. Getting cheated on was a rapid change many years ago. And maybe the signs were there, but it threw my life for a loop. 1 second I'm kind of comfortable. I'm doing, life is normal, going to school, wrestling, work, all that stuff, family, and then this happens. And it's overwhelming. And obviously that's a negative rapid change. There's tons of positive rapid change that can be overwhelming and tough to navigate. But I do fear like a rapid change. It's like a life-altering thing because I worked hard to protect my peace. Like I thought about this recently too, because I was looking at getting my own studio again. I had actually this room that I wanted. It was perfect. I was going to go back. It was going to be mine because I do miss having my own space to do this, to go and hang out, to go and decompress. And the price was the right price at the wrong time. And I could have taken a shot at it. And honestly, I'm probably going to regret it long term. I probably am. But I had this opportunity to do it, and I didn't take it because it was too drastic of a change. It was something that right now I couldn't have afforded. If it happened a couple weeks prior when overtime was bountiful at my job, then yeah, maybe I could have pulled the trigger. It was just right room, right price, wrong time. And again, I'm probably going to regret it at some point. So that's my number 7 is rapid change. Number 6, stepping out of my comfort zone. I know what I know. And this is a difficult thing for growth when you're comfortable with something. This also goes back to the rapid change thing where you have your peace. All right, I've earned the peace that I have. I don't really use social media the way that I used to. And it's hard for me to go back to it where I'm posting all the time. I used to post so much. And even if I start posting a little bit too much now, I go, that's too much. Doing things that I'm not necessarily comfortable with. My comfort is has been well earned. I would say my comfort has been well earned. I like where I'm at. There's obviously places where I would like to get to, spiritually, physically, financially. But stepping out of that comfort zone is it's a challenge. It is a challenge. And I think there's a lot of people like this. Taking drastic chances, all right, out of their comfort zone, doing stuff that they like. It's great for growth, but I've consolidated so much. I've navigated through a lot of bull crap in my life to get to the point where I am at. So my comfort zone is really, it's where I want to be. So number 6, stepping out of my comfort zone. Number 5, opening up to people. I talk a lot on this show. I do. And honestly, this is probably the most talking that I do. I say a lot of things. I talk about a lot of things that are sometimes quite personal. Maybe I talk too much. Maybe I'm too open on this show. But when it comes to directly being open with people, I have a hard time. I only trust less than a handful of people with any pertinent information. I'm around a lot of information vultures, or to go back to my number 9, snakes, or people consume information. They get you to talk. They make you feel comfortable. You talk. You open up, and they tell everybody everything. I have opened up to a lot of people in my life, and more often than not, that has been thrown back in my face some way, somehow. Something I specifically said that was near and dear to my heart has been used against me. I once mentioned that I had a dream that I passed away. All right? It happened. It sucks. It's sad. It was a terrible, terrible night's sleep. And I told somebody. And how it made me feel. Because it sucked because I did it. I had this dream. And within the dream, everybody had just kind of moved on with their life. I don't know what the time period was between my imaginary passing and me as a ghost interacting with my people I loved and cared about, but it's what it was in the dream. And I told somebody this, and then they went and told other people who made jokes about it. And then again, it's a silly little thing. Obviously, I have not passed away, but obviously my subconscious, my dream was trying to, I was expressing something, the way that I felt in a way through describing this dream. And I don't tell that person anything anymore that I don't want to get out. And I'm around a lot of information hawks too, so just opening up to people is not something it's something that I'm afraid of, because more often than not in the past, as a bit of a trauma, it has been used against me. Number 4, socializing. It kind of bleeds into that. I guess my number 5 bleeds into my number 4, more specifically. But yeah, socializing, I fear. And not just, like, I have, again, people that I'm willing to open up to. I have good friends, good people that I have no problem socializing with. But there's a lot of people who I don't know or do not trust that I just don't want to socialize with. I'm afraid to say anything to them. I've been treated bad by a lot of people in my day. There's people who have had no problem talking to me in a certain way, in a certain negative way, and once you do that, I'm not gonna give you my time and energy. There are people who, and I used to be like a quantity over quality kind of person. I wanted to be friends with everybody. Years of experience and taking abuse, in a sense, has led me to have that tighter circle, really focus on the quality over quantity aspect of it. But I don't know. I've been this let down and hurt. You know, there's also an aspect, too, of socializing where, like, sometimes people only hit you up when they need something from you. It's not because they love you or because they want to spend time with you. It's because they want something from you. And I have had that experience many times over. You know, people who hit you up for a ride. They don't drive, but they only want to be around you because you can provide them with the ride, or you can create something for them or give them some kind of information. So I have a very difficult time socializing with just anybody. And I'm a tough cookie. All right, I'm pretty much, and I hate to say, like, I've gotten so conceited, but like in this nature, but like, I'm really team no new friends. It takes a lot for me to warm up to somebody, and even then, I'm still hesitant. My best friends now, a couple of them have been long term. That trust, that friendship has been well earned. And a couple of them for, the last half decade, which I guess is a pretty long time too. Trust and friendship has to be, like, it is hard fought when it comes to me. If you want to be an important part of my life, I'm going to make you work for it. And it makes me sound really difficult, but I've been burned so many times in the past. So, number 4, socializing. Number 3, I'm not a crowd person. And honestly, football games are a bit of a stretch. It depends on where I'm at. You know, if I'm in Indianapolis watching a Colts game, I'm with my people, so I feel really good. Like, that's a good thing. If I'm in my Colts gear in Buffalo, it's a little bit of a hard time, which is rough too. But I've had a lot of bad crowd experiences. Like, I don't like concerts. I've tried to every concert that I've went to, there has been a bad experience. I'll talk about this one. My parents will get a kick out of this because they always watch it, watch these videos. Shout out to them. But I went to a Styx concert many years ago. And my mom and dad know where this is going. I went to a Styx concert. It was massive. And I'm pretty sure it was free. It was at Art Park in Lewiston. And we got there super early. But we got there so early. And I was not as prepared as I probably should have been for thirst and using the bathroom. I think it was more so a thirst thing. But we got there early. We're sitting there front and center. And I'm like, man, I got to get something to drink right now. So I went up. I went through this crowd. And it was massive and hard to navigate through. There was that couple points where people were just not letting people through. this certain area. They were tired of moving. They didn't want to give up their spot that they had gotten. So I get up there, I get the drink, and they're not letting me back in. This crowd is not letting me back into where my parents had parked their seats. So my dad ends up coming up to spend the concert with me and watch this thing. And my poor mom, brother, and sister are sitting in the middle of this concert and by themselves. And I felt so bad. I carried like a lot of, I think there was a lot of guilt with that. But I've been, like, there's other concerts too where like people are just pressing up on you and making things difficult. I've been to a lot of crap concerts and just concert experiences. And it sucks because I enjoy live music, but just other people. There are other people who will literally go there and just antagonize, and they don't care how their behaviors affect other people. Busy movie theaters. I hate going to the movie theaters now because people are rude with their cell phones and stuff. There's a crowd thing. And then lines. I hate lines too. A lot of trauma with lines. Line trauma goes back to Disney World, and even just crowd trauma, I think, goes to Disney World, fighting with people for seats at a parade or some kind of show. Hate it. I hate like this idea that I have to sit early to get ready for this parade and pushing and shoving with people who are trying to navigate, and it's just like there's all sorts of fighting. It's like, oh my God, it's a parade. Can we just enjoy this thing? I don't know. I thank my mom and dad for the fight, for the good fight to get the best seats and all that stuff, but there was just so much bullshit that went in with it. So it's a big fear thing for me. So that's my number 3. My number 2, an aspect of the crowd thing, but into that conflict. And the comfort zone thing, like I earned my peace. I earned it. It's been well earned. I don't like to fight with people. I don't. If you're going to be like just a shit human being, just go ahead. I'm not going to fight you. You're going to look like the jackass without me saying a word or without me hitting you back or whatever the deal is. It proves nothing. People have to look at themselves in the mirror, and maybe it's, unless there's like some kind of physical like conflict, like words and yelling and stuff, you can have all that. I will match energy. And what I mean by that is whatever, like you feel the need to yell at me, talk to me a certain way, I'm just going to ignore the shit out of you going forward. I had this kid who's about my age, but he was in charge of a night shift that I worked at. We were busting up concrete at a job, and he was awful. And I tried really, really hard, but no matter what I did, it was just treated people like crap. Terrible attitude problem. And now if I see him in public, I just ignore him. I try to say hi. I just ignore him. I'm not going to reward people who treat me bad with my attention and focus and energy. And, you know, it takes back to a lot of people from high school who I can't stand. I see them in public. I remember. And maybe it's something that I should let go of, should move on from. Probably some of it. I definitely should, but like, there's a lot of people who made my life hell, and I just do not give them the time and energy. I never fought, never fist fighted. I'm not one with, arguing with people. It's just not my style. There's also been like times too where I fought back a little bit, like with actions and words. Like I'll tell it's kind of funny in hindsight, but like I have these cousins. I won't do their names, but there was a point probably 15 years ago where we were, actually probably longer than that, 20 years ago, where we were reacclimating. It was another side of my mom's family. And the kids, who I love dearly now, but I was probably 15. They were probably 9, 10. 11. But every time we went to these family gatherings, I was super uncomfortable because they would just harass me. I could never enjoy myself. I was going through puberty in a sense. So I was developing hair on my chest and on my body. And my nickname with these adorable cousins who I love and care about was Hairy Nipples. And I was like, it just wouldn't stop. It wouldn't stop. So with some encouragement from my dad, I dunked one of their heads in the pool. And they cried. And everyone's like, why would you do that? Nobody said anything to the kids. Nobody controlled their kids. But when I fought back, this was my way of fighting back. I kind of got in trouble, and I left. Me and my dad left this specific party because I'm just I legitimately can't enjoy myself. So we left, and we were made out to be the bad guys. Conflict is just not worth it. Every time I fight back, I just get yelled at even worse. There's nothing I can do. It's if I respond, if I give back what I'm being given, and it's just not me. It's corrupting my character, and it's a road that I just do not want to go down. So conflict, my number 2. And my number 1 is death. All right? It is death of a loved one, of a friend. I fear that so much. I've been mostly fortunate with death. I know a lot of people have experienced a lot more of it in their lives than I have. It doesn't take away the pain of going through it, the pain that I've dealt with going through it. I am legitimately terrified that there's going to come a day in my life where there are people who I love and care about, and I can't talk to them anymore. I can't interact with them. I can't tell them I love them. I can't give them a hug, give them a kiss. I fear that all the time. So when it comes to people that I genuinely care about, I try to make the most of our time. I try my best. It's something I can definitely work on quite a bit. But the most recent death that I really experienced was my dog Prince in December of last year, right? Thanksgiving weekend. It was right after it. Everything went mostly pretty well, but after a couple days he got super lethargic and sleepy and low energy and just stopped. And he'd been sick for some time, and I'm like, oh my God, 10 years just flashed by, and it's still it's almost a year now. It's a month and a half away from being the 1 year anniversary, and it still bothers me that I can't pet him, give him belly rubs, or take him out for walks or any of that stuff. It bothers me. Death is this weird. It's a tough lesson to appreciate what you have. You know how people always come together for funerals and stuff, and oh, we really got to get together, and then they never do. I try to make that effort as best as I possibly can, because I don't want regrets when it comes to dealing with people who I love and care about. Yeah, my dog Prince was a bad one. My Mima, when I was just ahead of my senior year, what really messed me up because it was just, she was there always in my life, and then now she's gone. And there's so much that she missed, she would miss out on: marriage, my high school graduation, having a kid, the thought, the fear of not being able to interact with somebody, not have the ability to text, to call, to hug, to talk to somebody is don't like it. So there it is. The That's my top 10 fears. All right. I feel a little bit better putting these things out in the open. I do. Thank you so much for watching. At time of recording, we are super close to 200 subscribers. I was really hoping to get 200 by the end of the year. And right now, at this point in time, this moment, we are at 199. Thank you, everybody who gives this channel a chance, a shot. It's a lot. I try to make it as fun as possible. We've had some growing pains. We've done some good, some bad. But I'm very, very proud of this channel, and you are all a part of it. So thank you. I don't know what this channel will become. I don't. I'm happy with the way it is. I'm happy coming here every week, twice a week, and just being my authentic self with each and every single one of you. So thank you so much. I love and appreciate you all. We'll talk to you on Friday for Funless Friday. And till next time, do you even list?